Let's talk about Scotland and working. There's been talks about Scotland trialling a 4-day work week. Obviously, with no surprise here, people that have been asked, would you like to work less hours for the same pay? Obviously, most of them have said yes. So there's talks about trials taking place in Scotland, slightly more advanced trials. James, your thoughts?
Yeah, I find this interesting, and I'm going to follow it quite closely because they did this experiment in Iceland and New Zealand, and the data from Iceland showed that while people were working 4 days a week rather than 5, they were actually more productive over that time than they were over the 5 days previously. And I do think sometimes we need to separate this idea, this association we have with hours worked versus productivity, because I think sometimes you can do more work in less time, especially if you're well rested, you're well fed, and you have a bit of leisure time. You have enough leisure time as well. I think you can actually be more effective in work, even if it's fewer hours.
Kerry?
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I would say, if you're going to do less hours, let's ensure actually you get the same pay or better pay, because I understand the Scottish trial is actually only for people in office jobs. What about everyone else?
Broadened out, actually.
There's calls to broaden it out, but I would be very concerned that it doesn't end up as the compression of hours as they talk about it, where you end up doing the same hours in the same amount of days. And when people say, you can do more if you're well rested, you can also do more if you're on a decent salary, and too many people aren't.
Well, I've got to say on this particular story, one of the things that rings alarm bells to me briefly is that this was in the SNP's manifesto earlier on this year, and there was a line in there that I found quite interesting when they were talking about this, because they're saying about putting £10 million into this trial, and it says a full shift to the 4-day week would only happen if Scotland gains full control of employment rights from Westminster. So I've got to say, part of me wonders, how much of this is about employee well-being and let's look after our staff, and how much of this is about let's be independent from England? Let me know your thoughts on that.